It is Monday, April 20th, 2026 at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I wanted to review a covered call position that I got into in the simulated trading account in the Thinkorswim trading software. This account happens to be portfolio margin, and we're dealing with a net liquidating value of approximately $100,000. And I wanted to start with a trade in XLE whereby I purchased 100 shares of XLE at the current market price and sold uh, a slightly out of the money call option against those 100 shares to begin to establish some positions in this portfolio. So let's talk about it. Let's head over to the charts section here where I have XLE populated in the charts tab. And we can see here that this is the State Street Select Sector Energy ETF, otherwise known as the SPIDER XLE. And we can see here that this ETF has experienced significant price appreciation throughout the beginning of 2026. And that's related to the conflict that is happening in the Middle East and the price of oil. The price of oil has appreciated significantly since the beginning of the year and has since pulled back. And as a result, we see a pullback in XLE over the course of the last few trading sessions. And I am actually neutral to mildly bullish on this ETF for the remainder of 2026. So I'm looking to establish a long position in XLE, and I'm probably going to sell some option premium when I establish this position because implied volatility is trading higher relative to historical or realized volatility. And when we take a look at this blue line here, we can just see how it's kind of trading up in here, whereby typically it trades slightly lower. Okay. And implied volatility is directly related to option premium. So we know that the options are trading probably fairly juicy in this ETF right now. So let's head over to the trade tab. And the first thing that I want to take a look at is XLE's dividend situation. So I know that it pays a dividend, and we can see here that it pays a quarterly dividend. And it went ex-dividend on March 23rd of 2026, so roughly a month ago. And at that time, it paid out just shy of 39 cents per share, and that yields about 2.8%. So we don't have to worry about this ETF going ex-dividend and the different early assignment risks that can be accompanied with that, assuming we select an expiry that is within the next few months before the next quarterly ex-dividend date. Okay. The next thing I want to take a look at is the implied volatility readings for the different options expiration cycles to see if anything really stands out. So what I'm looking for is options expiries that have numbers that are larger relative to what's surrounding them. And I'm also looking for kind of the general trend of the implied volatility. And the first thing that stands out is the front month expiration cycles are trading at higher implied volatility readings relative to the further dated expiration cycles. And that's somewhat unusual for equities. However, in this scenario, we're not surprised because the options are pricing in potential volatility related to events that are transpiring in the Middle East geopolitically. So options are pricing in a little bit more volatility in the next few weeks relative to what they expect in the next several months. Let's see. Other than that, we can see that the May 15th, 2026 options expiration cycle has an implied volatility of 30.74 with the neighboring expirations in the 20s. And I will say that this is after hours. This is not the cash market. And so there may be some wide bid-ask spreads that aren't accurate that are feeding into this number. So when the cash markets open in the morning, we'll probably want to revisit this and just see if this is accurate. Okay. The next thing I want to take a look at is the volume in open interest, which basically tells us a story about liquidity for the different expirations and strike prices. So let's open up the May 1st, 2026 options expiration cycle. These are weekly options. They expire in 11 days. And I have open interest and volume selected here from the drop-down menu. And we can see what the open interest is and volume is that traded for the different strike prices in this expiration cycle. And we can see that it's not too bad. It could be better. So let's see how this compares to the monthly expiration cycle. When we're looking at ETFs like this that aren't, SPY or QQQ, their volumes are going to be lower. And so I would expect that the liquidity is going to be much better in the monthly options expiration cycle. So let's go ahead and open up the May 15th, 2026 expiration. These options expire in 25 days. And we can see here that the volume and open interest for this chain looks a little weird. We've got considerable amount of open interest in volume um, on the round numbers, the 55, 56, 57. And then we've got like very small volume and hardly any open interest in the half strikes. So the 55 half, 56 half, 57 half. And the reason for this is these strikes probably just got added. And as a result, they haven't been traded as much to result in very much open interest here. And I expect that these half strikes will fill in with time. However, I do not want to play in that sandbox if I don't have to. So if I'm going to select this options expiration cycle to trade options in, I'm going to stick with the whole numbers because liquidity is king for both entry and exit. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is let's just compare the May 8th after we took a look at the kind of volume and open interest that was in the monthly options expiration cycle. And we can see here that the open interest, I mean, it isn't terrible. The half strikes are filling in somewhat. But the volume today just really wasn't there across the strikes. So for me, from a liquidity standpoint, I am going to be looking to trade that quarterly expiration cycle. Now let's open up that May 15th, 2026 expiration cycle. And the next thing I want to take a look at here is the covered return data. So I'm going to go down to option theoreticals and Greeks, and I'm going to select covered return. And this represents an annualized return if I were to sell a covered call position against my 100 shares, and those 100 shares traded sideways, and I kept all of the call premium. And this assumes that I would be able to do that over and over again throughout the course of the year with nothing else changing. So this number is an annualized number. Now we know that this number isn't realistic to expect to just easily make, for example, 40% annually just by continually selling the 50 call all year long. But it does give us something to shoot against when we want to compare different opportunities. So if I were to look at XLE versus XLU, and they were trading at roughly the same price, and I wanted to sell an at-the-money covered call in each one, and I can't decide which one, I might want to look at the covered return to compare and see which one might be more attractive from that standpoint. Also, you can take a look at that when you're selecting different strikes. So I went ahead and sold the 56 strike call against 100 shares of XLE. And that's because of the nice volume and open interest this strike had. And as a result, based on the current bid-ask spread here, which isn't accurate because we're after hours, usually it's tighter, this would have a covered return of 36% on an annualized basis if I would realize full profit on those covered calls and the value of my shares didn't change. Okay, so I think that that return isn't too bad. So I went ahead and sold that call. And that's how I selected the strike price and expiration cycle. So we're going to take a look at how this position does over the course of the next few weeks and continue to build out some other positions utilizing some of the concepts that we've covered regarding covered calls, synthetic covered calls, and the like. So thanks for listening. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment, financial, or trading advice. No recommendations to buy or sell securities are being made. All examples are hypothetical and for illustration only. All investments carry risk, including the possible loss of principal. Options trading involves significant risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Consult a qualified financial advisor before implementing any strategy and review your financial situation, risk tolerance, costs, fees, and tax implications. Options trading requires broker approval, and not all strategies are permitted in all account types. Returns shown are hypothetical and not guaranteed. Market conditions can change quickly, and results will vary based on market performance, timing, and execution. Read characteristics and risks of standardized options from your broker or at www.optionsclearing.com before trading options.